Defend yourself against DDoS attacks by hiding your true IP address with ExpressVPN, and visit my custom link expressvpn.com/ghilliemaster in the description to find out how you can get an extra 3 months free. A few days ago, I talked about what we could potentially be seeing coming up in the next DLC based off of a source code leak that happened a little over a week ago. And today I want to discuss some other cut content that was made visible from that leak, mainly pertaining to the elusive Cops and Crooks DLC that never saw the light of day. But first, a bit of history on the Cops and Crooks DLC. This was an update that was supposed to release in the summer of 2020, a couple of years ago. Allegedly, due to some real-world events that were happening at the time, Rockstar decided to scrap the DLC, and instead we got the Los Santos Summer Special update that year. I made a video back in 2020 detailing some of the evidence that we had back then to back the claim that we indeed were originally supposed to be getting a Cops and Crooks DLC. But now with the most recent info that has come out, it shows even more content that was going to be a part of it, and man, is it a shame that it likely will never release because the content that was planned sounds awesome. So this information comes from TezFunds2, MonkeyPolice188, and HeySlickThatsMe on Twitter, and links to their respective sources will all be down in the description, of course. But first, let's talk vehicles. There were 14 vehicles planned for the Cops and Crooks DLC. The Police 5, the Police 6, Police Greenwood, Police B2, which is probably the Police Bike or another variant of that, the Police Riata, Police Caracara, Police Granger, Police Buffalo, Police T2, Police Panto, Police Batty, Police Gauntlet, the Zoku, and Surfer 3. What's real interesting about this vehicle list is the Greenwood we received in the last update as a regular car with a Minitech upgrade, so it's just cool to find out that the Greenwood was originally meant for the Cops and Crooks update and essentially just sat there for a couple of years before we saw its release earlier this year. And I also think that's a good sign that we could potentially see any of the content I talk about in this video come to the game in any update in the future, just repurposed in some way. And I've always said that the new Granger and Buffalo that we got in the contract update looked like they could have been part of a police update, so I wonder if the two listed in the Cops and Crooks DLC vehicle list here were actually the ones we saw in the contract update, or if those were just the old Police Buffalo and Granger just available for us to purchase now. Moving on, there were going to be some new weapons in the Cops and Crooks DLC, the Spike Mine, BZ Gas Mark II, Flash Grenade, Stun Grenade, and the Kinetic Ram. I believe we talked about the flash and stun grenades back in the video I made a couple of years ago because someone was actually able to mod in the explosion effects for us to see them in game. Spike mine we might actually already have. On the Arena War vehicles, you can equip spike mines that pop tires of pursuers, but I guess it could have been visually different. Maybe they actually had spike strips like in the campaign mission where you drop the spikes out of the James Bond car. BZ Gas Mark II, I would hope would be a more powerful gas grenade that actually does some damage because the current tear gas is just super weak. And finally, the Kinetic Ram might have just been an ability that made your crashes more powerful to launch cars or something. That's at least what it sounds like to me. But then again, maybe not because it has an explosive tag, so it's got to cause some sort of explosion, right? There are going to be tons of outfits added. On the cop side, there were 3 LSPD officer outfits, 3 park ranger outfits, 3 sheriff outfits, 3 highway patrol, 3 tech contract, and 3 tactical sheriff outfits. And on the Crooks side of things, there are multiple foot soldier outfits, a Ballas enforcer, and some O'Neill's hacker outfits. And this is something that I hope they do repurpose because so many people request to have cop outfits being able to save them. And it's really been that way since 2015 when we first got the cop outfit glitch. Cops and Crooks was going to be its own separate mode and was even going to feature its own progression system with its own currency. And the best way I can imagine that is kind of like how Red Dead Online rolls work, where you have your roll tokens, but in this case they're called CNC tokens. And you could use those tokens to buy certain unlocks and upgrades, which sounds like a much better upgrade system and progression system than both Arena War and the LS Car Meet. Abilities were also going to play a role in the mode. A whole grocery list of ability names were found in the files. For passive abilities, there's Parkour, Snitch, Marathon Man, Second Wind, Hack the System, and Freight Train. And for special abilities, there's Enraged, Ghost, Sprint Speed Boost, Spike Mine, Full Throttle, Backup, Car Slowdown, Rage, Bullet Time, which sounds like both Trevor and Michael's abilities back to back there, Snapshot, Insult, Arcade Enrage, Arcade Ghost, Nitro Cop, Nitro Crook, EMP, Spike Mine, Full Throttle, Pumped Up, Backup again, Oil Slick, and Kinetic Ram. And finally, the vehicle abilities, which are Nitro, EMP, Pumped Up, Oil Slick, and Kinetic Ram. A lot of those sound like mines that we already have in game, like the Oil Slick and Spike mines. EMP could also be a mine too, or maybe it's something that you shoot, like in NFS Hot Pursuit. And seeing Nitrous as an ability is really cool too, since it's been a long requested feature forever now. We see the Kinetic Ram that was mentioned earlier, and it looks like it was going to be some sort of special shunt ability that probably would send cars farther and do more damage to them than just a regular crash would, so kind of like as I expected it would. There was even going to be an entire mechanic around getting arrested, and it looks like the Crook was going to have the option of breaking out of the busted state, which I think would have been really cool if it worked like the struggle mechanic does in Red Dead Online, where you can get tackled and you have to spam the button and whoever runs out of stamina first wins that encounter and gets away. Not sure if that's exactly how it was planned to work, but that's how I imagine it. A bunch of references were found that can tell us a bit how the mode was going to play out. References to stashing cash that is stolen before cops can catch you, number of cops killed, number of crooks killed, amount of endurance damage received by crook or damage drained by cop, number of arrests, and finally some end parameters to determine a winner. Based off of this, it looks like the cops would win if they scored enough points, which I assume would be by arresting crooks, dealing damage, killing crooks. That's how they would score points. Maybe you got more points for arresting rather than killing. And the crooks would win by successfully banking money. That's at least what I get from this. And yeah, that's basically what the Cops and Crooks mode was going to be like. And it's very unfortunate that this was cancelled, because a new mode with a new progression system where you earn the unlocks by playing the mode with the new currency would have been, I think, a good breath of fresh air for GTA Online, especially for someone like myself who has been playing the game since day one, and the current progression system doesn't really mean anything to me. I'm a level 1000, you stop getting unlocks at level like 120. So having something new to grind for, to get unlocks for, that's not Arena War and the car meet that are just painstakingly boring, would have been awesome. And I am hoping we see that kind of format in a future DLC if they do plan on doing another progression system for any other DLC. As I said earlier, I think there is a high chance that we are going to see some stuff repurposed, especially with outfits, weapons, and vehicles. The game mode itself, not really sure how they could repurpose that. Progression system, definitely. But the Cops and Crooks aspect, I don't know how you can really repurpose that without calling it Cops and Crooks. It just really sucks that it had to be scrapped, though. But let me know what you guys think about the Cops and Crooks leaks. Would you have been excited to play this mode, and do you still want to see some of this content be added or repurposed in future updates? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, feel free to leave a like, as well as subscribe to my channel for more GTA Online content. And I want to give a huge shout out to all my channel members for your support. If you'd like to become a member for some exclusive perks, you can either use the join button or the link that's down in the description. And as always, thanks for watching, and have a great day.